All right, let's dive into one of the biggest, most important transformations happening right now, the complete reinvention of the classroom. Seriously, forget everything you think you know about chalk dust and heavy textbooks. We are stepping into an era of algorithms, smart systems, and artificial intelligence. So the big question is, how did we get here? And where in the world is this all going? Okay, so let's set the stage. For generations, the classroom was basically a one-way street, right? You had a teacher up at the front delivering one single lesson to a whole room of pretty passive students. But that entire model, it is being flipped on its head. Today, learning is interactive, it's personalized to every single student's own pace, and it demands that you get involved. And look, this isn't just some small adjustment. It's a fundamental change in how we think about education itself. So this first big wave of change brought us what you could call the new digital classroom. It was all about building a brand new toolkit, one that went way beyond physical books and into digital resources that, well, they promised to make learning more dynamic and, crucially, accessible to everyone. But, this didn't just happen overnight. This has been a long time coming. It really started way back in the 60s with things like educational TV and those, clunky early computers. Then, boom, the 90s hit, and the internet and personal computers started showing up in schools, opening up this whole new world of information. And that brings us right up to today, where mobile devices, the cloud, and now artificial intelligence are becoming completely woven into the fabric of how we learn. So what is it that makes this tech so different, so revolutionary? Well, it really boils down to a few core things. For one, it's interactive. It lets students actually engage with the material, not just listen to it. It's multimodal, meaning it uses text, audio, and video to click with all the different ways people learn. And maybe most importantly, it opens the door for true personalization, makes learning accessible from literally anywhere, and lets us collaborate with people all over the globe. And this leads us to a really important concept, blended learning. Now, this isn't about getting rid of teachers or tearing down classrooms, not at all. It's about creating this powerful hybrid, mixing the best of both worlds. You get the irreplaceable guidance of a teacher in person, combined with the massive resources and flexibility of online tools. All of this is pointing toward a much bigger goal, something people in the field call a DLE. That's a dynamic, equitable learning environment. The ultimate promise here isn't just to make our classrooms more high-tech. It's to make learning fundamentally more fair, to make sure every single student gets an equal shot at success. Okay, so now, let's look at what's next. We're actually moving beyond just having digital tools to having intelligent ones. This is where artificial intelligence makes its grand entrance, and believe me, it is set to change absolutely everything. So what is AI in education really? Here is a fantastic way to think about it. Imagine you have a personal fitness trainer, but for your brain. It doesn't just hand you some generic workout plan. No way. It first figures out where you're at, then designs a custom plan just for you. And this is the magic part. It adapts the workout in real time as you get smarter and stronger. That's the core idea of AI personalization. So how does it actually pull this off? Well, it's basically this constant four-step loop that's always running in the background. First, the AI is collecting data on how you're doing, what you're clicking on, how you're answering questions. Then it analyzes all that data to figure out your unique learning patterns, what you're good at and where you may be struggling. Based on that analysis, it adapts the content on the fly, maybe giving you a tougher problem or a different way of explaining something. And finally, it gives you instant, super specific feedback so you know exactly what you need to do to improve. And what's really interesting is that AI's impact goes way beyond just the students. For the learning itself, you've got these incredible adaptive platforms. For assessment, think about AI that can automate grading. Even for essays, that frees up so much precious time for teachers. And even on the management side, it can tackle incredibly complex things like school schedules, making the whole institution run that much smoother. But, of course, it's not all just seamless tech and perfect algorithms. Come on. Any revolution this big comes with its own set of challenges. And when we talk about AI in our schools, we absolutely have to talk about the human equation, the risks, the ethics, and the completely vital role of the teacher. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to a critical balancing act. On one hand, the benefits are just incredible. Personalized learning, better access for everyone, real support for overworked teachers. But on the other side of that coin, we've got to deal with some pretty serious risks, like protecting student data privacy, making sure the algorithms aren't biased, and avoiding a future where we rely way too much on the tech. And when we look at the actual hurdles to making this a reality for every kid, one problem stands head and shoulders above the rest: the digital divide. This is the gap in who has access to good internet and modern devices. And let's be clear, if we don't solve this problem, all the amazing potential of AI will just end up making the gap between the haves and the have-nots even wider. And right behind that is making sure our teachers have the training and support they need to navigate this new world. And that right there brings us to maybe the single most important point in this whole conversation. Technology, no matter how intelligent it becomes, is a tool. It is a pedagogical aid designed to empower great teachers to make them even better, not to replace them. That human element, the ethical judgment, the empathy, the inspiration, that remains completely and totally essential. So, with all of that in mind, where is this all taking us? What does the future of education actually look like? Well, the new vision that's emerging is often called Education 5.0. Education 5.0 is all about a powerful synergy. It's a human-centric model. The idea is to use technology not to replace our humanity, but to amplify it, to boost our uniquely human qualities like creativity, ethical thinking, and our ability to work together to solve really tough problems. So, under this model, what we focus on in school changes pretty dramatically. It becomes way less about just memorizing facts to pass a test, and much more about mastering real-world skills and competencies. It's all about hands-on, experiential learning and, maybe most importantly, building the habits and the values you need to keep learning for your entire life in a world that just won't stop changing. And so this leaves us with the defining question for this entire new era. We now have tools with the potential to create the most powerful and the most equitable learning environment in all of human history. So the question is, will we use them to finally bridge the old gaps that have held so many people back? Or will we accidentally create brand new ones? The choice is ours to make.